Show, episode 9. God, I look really tall next to you.
Here, I'll sit up.
No, here we go. This is my old friend, dear friend, Jim Hobart. We've been friends since UCF, and it wasn't FTU then. And one real quick thing before I get into that. Remember that you're a little bit delayed when you're asking questions. And so if I don't answer it right away, it's just because I don't see it right away. So give me a second and let me see if I can get it up. But anyway, so let's talk about Jim. Jim and I met 1989.
Yeah, summer of '89.
So that's 28 years ago, which is crazy. We were both on academic peer advisement with Pete Fisher as our guide and mentor.
Yep, great man.
A fantastic man. And a Lambda Chi, right?
Lambda Chi,
Which
yep.
Jim is a Lambda Chi, I'm a Sigma Chi. That didn't matter then at all, and I'm looking, so hold on. Because peer advisement was not about who you were, what affiliation you were. It was about team building and getting people involved. See, you got some people coming up.
Yeah, I'm going to turn my volume down so we don't hear it. But
It's all right. Well, we're going to see that. So maybe we're going to see some people.
There we go.
Oh, Stacy says hi, Jim. All right, so we're figuring this out.
We're working it out.
We're working it out. This is our show. It's got a $3 budget, so bear with it for a little bit.
Can I just say what an honor it is to be on the TED Show?
You're very
With
kind.
the great Ted Bogert. I've been
cheers
watching
to
since
that.
the beginning. Cheers.
This is water. His is beer.
And if you believe that,
It's an honor to have you. I really appreciate it.
it's great to be here.
It's crazy. After 28 years, we are still great friends. Jim was at my wedding reception, at 1992, February. We had the reception here at the Citrus Club. And then when my daughter Courtney got engaged, Jim was kind enough to take him personally, kind enough to take the surprise engagement photos, which was such a blessing. And they turned out beautiful.
I do not do wedding photos.
No, he doesn't.
Don't
I'm
do
sorry. I'm
engagement.
sharing that, but that's not his
It was a very special
thing.
occasion.
It was very special and very
made
sweet.
an exception for Courtney and for...
He did make an exception, which I greatly appreciate. And you had somebody else with you that was awesome, too.
I did. I had, I believe Bailey helped us with that
Yes,
one.
Bailey did.
Yep.
And then he was at Courtney's wedding in February, which was
Right here.
unbelievable. So we're a long time. I think you said it, circle of life. Crazy,
Like
right?
30 years? How long is it?
Yeah, so let's see. Courtney's born 92 and she got married for 25 years.
Okay.
Just at 25 years. I was very young when I had Courtney, as
Yes,
all
you
of you.
were. You still are.
And we all are, aren't we?
Oh, Stacy says 1991.
Oh, yeah, you're right, 1991, babe. Sorry, Courtney was born in 1992. That's what I'm thinking. She's right, February 1991. So it's been 26 years. Hi, Alice. Thanks for saying hi. Lewis, take your time, Ted. Yes, I'm going to take my time. That's a great one. We have so much to talk about is why. Like, we have a whole agenda that I really want to get through and be able to get Jim. So we met at UCF. Let's give a little history. Met at UCF, did peer advisement.
2 summers at peer advisement.
2 summers at peer advisement, which they're amazing and life-changing.
Yep,
Talk to Vic about that.
And I know there's all those peer advisors out there still that we became friends with, that we just reminisced about a few of you guys.
We did. We reminisced about you guys, and we were talking about Ellen Bolvis. So if you don't know, Ellen passed earlier this year. I'm in touch with her son on some real estate transactions, and he's awesome, and he mentioned how much, he really did, he mentioned how much his mom loved peer advisement and that entire time. And she was on for 5 years too, because I was on 86 to 90. I
Yeah.
probably should have been on
You
long
were like a
before that.
lifer.
I was a lifer. Me and Larry Rumbow.
You and Rumbo, yep. Yep.
Yes, Alice, I missed the date. Sorry, 1991. I'm thinking about my baby Courtney. And so after that, though, I got married, graduated, and then you went on to form with Mike Kinn, right?
Yep.
Night Images.
We formed Night Images.
So
and
talk about that, because I don't think a lot of the younger people who know all about it don't know that you were part of the original team.
the younger people, yes, this is for the younger folks. In 1994, Mike Hinn and I were on the communications board for the UCF Alumni Association, and the magazine was the publication that went out to the alums was terrible. Frankly, it was called Night News or something like that.
I think it was hieroglyphics
It was
back then.
black and white, photocopied. It looked like something you wrap your fish in. And and so Mike and I said we can do better than this. And so we got some help, and Mike Candelaria came on board, and
I remember
between
him
us
too.
we started Pegasus. We created the created it. Tom Messina was a huge help in making that
Tommy,
happen.
we were just talking about you, trying to figure out where you are.
Tom Messina, great man. He was instrumental in getting Pegasus started. And then for the following 10 years, up until 2004, Mike and I built Night Images, along with Mike Forstall and John Speak and loads of other great folks who helped to build Pegasus and Night Images into something pretty great.
It's actually, so that magazine that all of you get, you all started, Pegasus.
Yeah.
So even the ones that don't know the history, the ones that are more recent grads of UCF, they get the magazine, and that's what Jim and Mike and your whole crew started.
I created a magazine with no content, and Mike sold a magazine that had never been published to all these advertisers and convinced them to buy ad space. And
I did an ad in the
fictitious
original magazine. I did an ad because I think I think it could have been the second one, but I was in insurance back then.
Thank you.
And oh god, it was so inexpensive, the cheapest.
It was.
But I was supporting UCF, so it didn't matter.
You were.
Hey, Vic just came on, and so did Dana Clary. Hey, Dana.
Good people.
Great people. So you went from
Thanks,
night.
Dion. I love you.
Oh, what happened? I missed.
She's saying the younger folks are listening.
Yeah.
She's
Oh,
just
I'm so
being-
glad the younger folks are listening, because
she's
sometimes us
taking
old
a little
folks.
jab. I
That's
appreciate
awesome.
that. Thanks.
So Night Images, and then you left.
I did. I'm a quitter, and I quit.
You're not a
I'm
quitter.
a total quitter. I told Mike at the start I could probably do this for 10 years, and I did. 94 to 2004, and in 2004 I decided that Night Images was booming and thriving, and they didn't need me anymore, and I decided to go live in the UK. And so I took.
Oh, I don't think I knew that. You went back to the UK?
I took.
Because you're an expat. You were born there?
I'm an expat. I was born in England, and I'd lived there as a child up till age 6. But I wanted to find out what it was like to live there as an adult. And so my
Did not
cousin
know
was
that.
going through some stuff at the time, and we decided. Actually, Beth decided to come with me, and we moved to the UK for almost a year.
Beth went too?
Beth was there.
See, these are the things. I do a
all of
great job on my
2000
R&D, my research.
Great research. So basically, all of 2004, Beth and I spent in the UK. We were
I did
there
not know
almost.
that.
It was 10 months, April to February, and we helped my cousin get her business off the ground. And Beth worked for cheese and olives, basically, because she couldn't
And
get
coffee,
out.
probably.
And coffee. And yeah, then when we came back, it was time to figure out what was next for us.
And no British accent.
No. I lost that when I was 6.
Oh, you did?
I was young.
Can you go back to, like, I can go back to my New Jersey accent if I have to.
You know, it's not
Like law and daughter. And,
I don't pick up the accent, I pick up the phrases.
Okay.
If I go back to the UK, I start saying expressions that I filter out here because they're just conversation stuff.
Nobody knows.
They don't understand.
Yeah, they don't get the reference.
No.
Kind of like Monty Python.
Yeah.
If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you're totally
Essentially,
lost.
I'm like a constitutional peasant 24/7. It's great. But
Google that.
yeah. So when we came back, Beth got into real estate, and as you know, has thrived at it now. She's been doing that for 12 years, and I
That's
decided
amazing.
to get into photography, which was my first love. My very first job out of college out of high school was as a photographer for a newspaper, and I decided to go back into it and see if I could make a living at it, and that's what I've been doing since 2006.
So let's talk. We got a comment from Vic, and I want you to look. You guys were my PR committee for CAB. You talked me into getting UCF's first Apple computer.
And Vic
Colazzo, that's awesome.
Vic Colazzo, I would like to also give Karen Hawkins some credit for
Karen
that
Hawkins,
as well.
yeah.
You guys and the guys that were the student advisors in CAB were incredible, and yeah, they took a big chance. They spent, I don't know, 10 grand on the very first Mac, and a printer and a scanner and a bunch of other stuff, and that's kind of where I learned how to use a Macintosh.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good memory, Vic.
Yeah,
I don't
well
think
done.
Vic forgets anything. Just make a mental note of that.
No, watch out.
All right, so
Don't
you.
say all the rest of the stuff you remember, Vic.
So you didn't just get into photography. You made it your livelihood.
I did. I'd been taking pictures as a hobby since childhood, and in 2006 I decided to become. I actually learned how to fly. I got my pilot's license, and
That's right.
and I learned how to fly. And flying is a very expensive hobby, so I wanted to figure out a way for someone else to pay while I flew.
Understood.
And I didn't want to become an airline pilot, so I started taking pictures from an airplane. And until the crash of 2008, when the economy tanked, that was a pretty good way to make a living. and then pretty much all construction just ended at that moment. So I had to do other things, and right around that time, my very good friend Mark Collins was expanding his studio down at Odyssey Creative, over here in the Crest Building, down the street here. And he said, would I like to share space with him and help use the studio that he was building? And I jumped at the chance, and that enabled me to then start offering studio headshots, portraits, models, product photography, and all the things that you can do in a studio. So I owe Mark Collins a big thank you for that one. And we stayed there for about 5 years, and we just moved up the street to the Rebuild, where we are now on the 9th floor.
I love the Rebuild. If anybody doesn't know, is it still called that, or it's got a different name, 915 or?
The building is called the Rebuild still, but it's converted completely into offices.
I used to have that building insured, if you can believe that, back in the day, yeah. I had to do inspections, so when you told me you were there, I'm like, oh God, I know those elevators.
It's
such a cool
on its
Art
100th
Deco building.
anniversary.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And it was from the 1922 till about the mid to late 30s, was the fanciest hotel in all of Central Florida.
It's up Orange, right? If anybody doesn't know, the
right across from the Wells Fargo building on Orange Avenue.
It's a beautiful, beautiful building, and they still have a lot of the original stuff. Well, they did when I insured it, but when I was just there for the collective, there's still some things on there that I remember.
That lobby, that two-story lobby, feels like a New York pre-war building.
Very much so.
It's got the skylight, that kind of that grand entranceway that just feels like kind of that roaring 20s.
And I love the old pictures of it. I'm sure you've looked at it. The History Center has some amazing photos of that from a different time.
And there's still a ballroom on the 10th and 11th floor of the North Tower, if you will, and it's just been rented by a law firm, but it's just gorgeous, two-story office and stuff. Yeah, so we love it there.
That's
Great
awesome.
place.
And so now you're there, and you've hosted the collective, which thank you, a couple of months.
We did.
Eventually, I'm going to try to get Andre or John on here, but their schedules are very busy.
Andre and John,
I'm calling them out. And Carolyn Capron says hi, Ted and Jim, and also shout out to Mark Collins. Hi, Carolyn.
And there's my friend Joan.
Hi, Joan.
I've known Joan not longer than I've known you, Ted.
No way.
Yeah.
Since the earth cooled.
But she's only like 28 or something, so it's pretty amazing.
So am I, Joan.
I don't know time-space thing. I don't know. But
You know what's not fair is your beer is not showing.
Oh.
There you go. I feel better.
Can't have lunch without a beer. And your water is getting kind of
My
low.
water is very low. It's low water. All right, so tell us what happened then. So you opened your studio, but then you started to do more than just headshots. Like the pictures that most of us know from you now, you're like hanging off the side of an airplane or a helicopter, or you're taking or a cliff. I saw you're camping. Allegedly, that's something people do. Camping, you're on the side of a cliff, and it looks like you're sleeping there.
It requires, Thank you to Sarah Sakula. I have to give a big shout out to Sarah for inviting me to come along. Sarah was doing an article for USA Today Travel. And there's a company just outside of Denver called the Kent Mountain Adventure Center. And these guys take people up a cliff, you walk to the top, and you rappel down, and then you stay the night on the side of the cliff. All night long.
God.
Don't ask.
Was that fun? I'm trying to figure that out. Was there booze?
No booze.
Well, God, I think you'd be afraid for your life, right?
Yeah, right. And you don't want the guy who's responsible for holding the rope to be having a...
And do you actually get sleep?
Not a lot. I mean, it was
the
one
view.
of those.
It's
it was
an
one
experience.
of those bucket list things. But when
the
wind starts blowing and the support you're sitting on starts shaking and you're 100 feet off the ground.
Is that something Beth would do?
No. No.
I love you, Beth.
Beth would not do that. But they do something called a cliffnic, which is rappelling down, having a picnic, which is a couple of hours food and drink on the shelf, and then going to the bottom and spending the night in your hotel. And that is probably what I would recommend for most.
Okay, so there's food and drink. I like that. And then there's a hotel at the end.
Yeah,
so
they're talking about like
the story has a happy
wine
ending.
and cheese and stuff like that.
Very nice.
Do a cliff afternoon. Don't do an overnight.
Fantastic. All right, I am totally getting you off topic because we have a lot to talk about.
Oh, how are we doing on time?
And we've got time. Oh, do you know? You remember Deanna Cooper Smith?
Absolutely.
So Jim graciously shot our gala a few few years back. Isn't he
that's
amazing?
very
Oh,
kind.
I haven't found anyone to compare.
I
since.
told you guys I'll do it again.
There you go.
Just ask me.
See? All right, so let's talk about, there's so much to talk about, but we want to hit Local Love Orlando, and we want to hit some of the, what they do and the amazing impact that they have on our local community. So talk a little bit about that, or a lot about that.
A little bit. I'll talk a little bit. Thank you, Ted. This is something that's near and dear to my heart, and is something kind of, it's been around a little bit, but it's also a little new. We've got some new news. But
What's their website? Is it localloveorlando.org or .com?
It's
or?
.com.
Okay,
But
so
I need-
localloveorlando.com.
But
I love it. Hi, Nathan. No, I'm good right now. Thank you. Nathan came to make sure my water didn't need to be
Nathan's
refilled.
taking care of us.
Hi,
We
Nathan.
appreciate it. So a little bit of background. I used to do a project, a monthly event called First Friday Photos. And on the first Friday of every month, people would come to our studio, and I would get a chance to take their headshot. And we would, over time, I began changing backgrounds, and then I hired Hillary, at the time Brooks, now Powers, and Hillary changed everything. She said, "This is boring. These plain colored backgrounds are tedious. You need to jazz this
That sounds
thing up
like
a bit."
Hillary.
And so she turned it into larger than life, crazy creative backgrounds, and then the one that changed everything was the map of the downtown neighborhoods,
Yes.
which was originally a background created for a fundraiser for homelessness. So we were going to do a First Friday, and by the way, Carolyn and Greg, shout out to you guys for initiating that. Carolyn Capern and Greg, the brains behind CT Social, came to us and said, "Let's do this homelessness thing," along with Andre Bailey. And so Hillary made this amazing map, and that was the background.
It's a beautiful map.
Everyone from Mayor Dyer on down said, "We love this. How do we get a copy of it?" And after about the 200th person asked the question, Hillary digitized it, created a 5-color screen print of it, and we sold out of 500 of them in no time. And that was the beginning of Local Love. And that event led to other events. You might remember this spring, there was one for the Zebra Coalition where we raised over $6,000. And then in July, there was one for the Central Florida Coalition on Homelessness, Shelley Lawton's organization, and that raised over $5,000.
Amazing.
And we have plans for another one in the fall.
So Local Love Orlando raises funds and then distributes them to local charities.
That's exactly right. The mission, and I've got a little news that will changes things somewhat, but the mission for Local Love is to keep donations local, to collect and consolidate funds from many people that care about our local community and give them back to organizations who a $5,000 donation makes a big difference. We have nothing against United Way and other organizations, but we're trying to make a big impact in our local community with smaller groups that really kind of need that support. And so, and the new news is that Local Love Orlando is becoming a fully 501c3 nonprofit
Isn't that
corporation.
amazing?
Which,
That's awesome.
which just, the mission really
That's
doesn't
breaking
change
news
any.
on the TED Show.
Breaking news. The mission doesn't change, but what it does is it legitimizes it completely. IRS receipts and auditable, and so instead of running it through our other companies, it's now going to be a completely, nonprofit organization. And
Awesome.
and that means we can really tackle some big projects. And
So we've talked about Zebra Coalition, which a lot of people don't know about. Which we should definitely. I would love to have them on the show
Yeah,
at some point.
Heather Wilkie,
I'm such a huge
is
proponent
is
of
a
what they
wonderful,
do
wonderful
because
human.
there's no other service like it in Orlando that
Yeah.
I'm aware of.
For those of you who don't know, the Zebra Coalition provides temporary homes and eventually foster housing for LGBTQ youth that have found themselves homeless for whatever reason.
And believe it or not, that number is staggering.
It's a lot.
And they need so much more money for more housing.
Yeah.
So if you can believe it, these kids have no place to go. It's a beautiful, wonderful organization.
It is.
And they're right on Mills, right?
Yep, they're in the little house that used
It's
to be
such a
the
great
Seven
little house.
Sisters, I think.
Yes,
and
yeah.
it's
awesome.
yeah,
Amazing
just north of
organization.
50 on Mills. And
Oh, there's tons of people. Like Alice Weinberg said, remind me to tell you a story about the Angeville Hotel back in the day when my stepfather installed the first
Wow.
air conditioning unit.
Well,
Alice, it was 20,000 years before you were born, love.
you might be interested in knowing they just took a crane and put brand new units on top. So
Hallelujah.
whatever your dad built way back in the day has just finally been replaced.
Awesome.
Anyway, so Zebra Co. does amazing things. Heather Wilkie is just incredible, and Earl, her partner in that, great people. And then everybody knows the Commission on Homelessness because Andre Bailey did such a great job of
He did.
turning that into a household word. And now Shelley Lawton has continued that work and she was on the radio this morning. Did you hear her on NPR?
I did not hear her, but she's
Intersection.
amazing. Like she just
Yeah.
does. She's out there continuing
Yep.
whatever he started, whatever Andre started,
Yeah,
and really taking it to the next level, which is what she should do. It's
Yep.
amazing.
She's doing great. And then this is kind of a little premature, but we are working to do a third event this fall with the folks at Fleet Farming. So Chris Castro, if you're out there listening to this, we're coming for you.
I love it.
We'd like to do an event to help something that we really believe in. If you don't know Fleet Farming, you
Yeah,
can
please tell us about Fleet Farming. I didn't know until we talked 2 minutes before the show started
Great
exactly
group.
what Fleet Farming is.
Chris Castro and a gentleman named AJ who helped us out, and a lot of really great people. Essentially, it's based at the East End Market over on Kareem Drive near Baldwin Park. And Fleet Farming is a group of people who volunteer their time to go bicycling around the Audubon Park area and taking care of gardens and harvesting them for people who live in that area. It's free for those people as long as they provide a piece of their yard that's accessible, like a front yard. But for those of us who don't live in Audubon Park, here in downtown Orlando, who want a garden and don't have green thumbs, they will come and build a garden for you for a fee, and then you'll have the same advantages that the folks in Audubon Park do. You just have to take care of it yourself. But Beth and I have one in our yard, and we're currently harvesting spinach and eggplant and lettuce and okra, and I think we've got a bunch of sunflowers.
You need to grow coffee beans for Beth.
Can you grow coffee in Florida?
Can you grow coffee in Florida?
No. Fleet Farming people, help me out.
Fleet Farming, honestly, Beth would be your best proposal.
We would need acres and acres of backyard in order to keep Beth in coffee.
Well, that's true. She'd have to start over every morning.
Yeah, it would.
Beth, we love you. You know it's a great comment. It's not.
And but I tell you, fleetfarming.org or .com. I think they have both. Go check it out. They do amazing work. And so, with any luck, that'll be our third local love night of this year, and we're looking forward to that.
So, are there like local love Orlando? When you think about it, we have so many. And I'm on the board of some of these organizations that are hurting because it's very hard to get money dripped down to the local level because you really have to get the right people involved. And there's so many larger organizations that have a better name or a bigger name. So the fact that Local Love Orlando is trying to figure out how to distribute the wealth amongst the ones that are here and organically grown,
and
that's huge.
That's the thing, Ted. We have nothing at all against Susan G. Komen or United Way or any of these fantastic groups that are doing great work. The problem is that they have a much bigger reach and much more power to pull in those dollars. And so, our goal is to keep local funds local, and we want to do events that involve photography and artwork and provide prints and an experience so that everybody feels like they came away with something good, and all the dollars raised from a particular night, they know exactly where those dollars are going, and they're staying right here.
Well, that's the thing. I think what happens is people really want to give money, but social media is a blessing in the fact that it really kind of challenges the accountability that we have on the national level or the big charity level.
Sure.
Big charities are fantastic, but if you're trying to figure out where to give your $10 a month, you want to see an impact on that, and you mostly want to see that locally, unless you've got some particular organization that you have an affinity for because of a family experience or an experience in your life. But honestly, I think that people being able to contribute locally is a giant step in the right direction.
Right. And there's a couple other things I need to say.
Please do.
If I may. So, if you bought one of the downtown Orlando maps and you love it and you want to know where to get more things like it,
I love it. We have one.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I have to give a shout out. Hillary and Drew, Hillary Powers, my former studio manager, and Drew are starting a new company called Little Known Goods.
I love that name. I don't even know what it is, but I love that name.
LittleKnowngoods.com.
Awesome.
And if you want to be kept up to date on what's coming out, you should really go and check out their site. Right now it's kind of a teaser and a place to add your email address so that you can be on the list of the first to know kind of thing, but I would recommend it. I think in the next few weeks you're going to see all kinds of really exciting stuff. So check out littleknowngoods.com. And also I do need to mention Rebuild Globally.
Yeah, let's talk about that because
I need to talk about that.
Please do, because that if you follow Jim, and you should if you're not, on Instagram or Facebook or the other things that I don't know about. Tumblr, are you on Tumblr? I don't even know what that is. Pinterest, maybe? Anyway,
Tinder?
get him on. No Tinder. Swipe left, I'm told. The pictures of you and Beth and your group going down there, tell them about Rebuild Globally.
Okay, Rebuild Globally, nutshell version is Julie Colombino, right after the 2010 earthquake, felt a calling to go and do something. And she didn't know what she was going to do.
Because they were devastated there.
The earthquake destroyed Port-au-Prince. I mean, literally hundreds of thousands of people were homeless, dead, injured, bleeding. It was a disaster on them.
The pictures didn't do justice.
True meaning of the word. And Julie just showed up with a suitcase, which I think got stolen the moment she landed. And she stayed there for the first couple of years. And she went down there and she looked for something she could do that wasn't just handing out water. And she started a company, which is now thriving. And they make sandals out of recycled tires. And it's now become an entire fashion line with locally sourced products. They make bags, they make jewelry, they still make great shoes. And their fashion line is called Dumas, which is two hands in French, Dumas, DEUXMAINS.com. And the fashion line is thriving, and Rebuild Globally's plan is to continue to create these kinds of businesses in disaster places, refugee camps, places where there is no employment, but there are people who want to work. So she's looking at Africa, she's all over the world. She wants to make it. She says it's going to be bigger than Coca-Cola, so stay tuned for that.
But you went there, and so tell us a little bit. And we are way over time, people, so thank you. No. So thank you, people, for staying. We have people joining right now. Tell us about how that impacted you. So you get off the plane, right? You don't really know what you're in for. You think you do, but you really don't.
You really don't. The first time I went, again, with Mark Collins,
Haiti.
We went down to Haiti, to Port-au-Prince, to photograph and video Julie and her team for the UCF Black and Gold Gala. Julie was recognized as a community leader, and so Mark and I and a team of people went down there the first time in September of 2011, so 18 months after the earthquake, and it still looked like a war zone. Rubble on the streets and giant potholes and no infrastructure, and it was crazy. And I've been 5 times since then, and each time we go, things get a little better and a little better and a little better, and Julie's company is growing. And so things are improving, but man, they've got a long way to go.
So you get off the plane and you go, all right. I mean, that's the thing I would think. I haven't been there. I haven't.
It's rough.
But you can't. There's nothing you can do to prepare for it, right? So people donated a ton of money when all of that happened. I mean, we were all we wanted to do was pour love into Haiti.
Yeah.
And then you get off the plane and you go, oh my God, this is a million times worse than I could have ever imagined.
Yeah, the first time we landed, there were the surrounding the airport were thousands of people who wanted to carry your bags, wanted to do, give you water, do anything for you. There were just people looking for something because there's no jobs. There's 47% unemployment in Haiti. 1 in 2 people doesn't have a job, and it has gotten so much better since then. But that first time is pretty jarring. They say the daytime mosquitoes carry dengue fever, the nighttime mosquitoes carry malaria. Both of them carry chikungunya, and now we've got Zika to worry about. So a mosquito bite is not just a mosquito bite.
No.
And so these people deal with this every day. We go in for 3-4 days, take a lot of photos and leave. Come back to our running water and our light switches that turn on and our call 911 and the cops show up and all the things that we take for
But
granted.
you've done more. When you come back, you just don't sit and wait for the next trip. I was at your art exhibit that you did where all of your photos were on display, right? That was the first time.
It was, yeah.
It was
thank you.
beautiful. We bought a picture. We bought something.
Thank you. Yeah, we do. We create, the last 2 times we've created a video to tell the story, which then at the annual fundraiser in March? I think it's March. The annual fundraiser that they do every year, our video shows the story in about 5 minutes, which if you want to go to rebuildglobally.org, you can see the video. And
So
learn more about it.
rebuildglobally.org.
Yeah, great group of people. I'm proud to be associated with them. My very first board meeting is this Friday, so I'm excited.
It's amazing.
I've been invited to be on the board, so that's exciting.
It's a blessing.
Yeah,
It's a huge blessing.
they're so great. You know, it gives you something to aspire to. You know, one day I want to be like them, kind of thing.
So what have I missed in the Jim Hobart show?
Well, we talk about how great.
We
Beth
went
is doing.
so much. Oh yeah, let's talk a little bit about Beth. So, you know, it's a small world. Orlando, we talk about this, how Orlando's kind of a small town. So I started to hear about this Beth Hobart person, I don't know how long ago. And I'm like, Hobart, there's no way on the planet she's related to Jim. And I knew you got married, but you know, there was a disconnect a little bit for a couple of years. That's what happens. And I met her, and she is married to Jim, and she also is doing amazing things, like independent of you. And I'm not just talking about her business.
No.
She's super involved in the community, and I'd love for Beth to come on. So Beth, here's your challenge. I'm asking you to come on the
You
TED
should
show.
come on the show. That'd be great.
Because there's really not much with it. I mean, Jim had to be in makeup a half hour before. It's a challenge.
Am I shiny?
You are not. You're totally shiny. So no, you're not shiny. I am.
What I do need to say about Beth is that Beth has been in philanthropic mode long before me. She was working with Quest and the Adopt a Home for
which is
Quest
amazing.
back long before I was involved in doing anything. She's now on the board of the Orlando City Soccer Foundation. She's come to Haiti now and is now actually another piece of news. Beth has created some jobs.
That's fantastic.
In addition to the people she's hired for her own company, there is I won't give it away, but there's a product that is being created by Rebuild Globally for Beth, which started an entirely new line of products. And I'll leave it at that for now.
It's not a coffee?
It's not coffee. I don't know if you've probably grown coffee in Haiti, but
That's
no,
amazing.
There's a new product that's
amazing.
created jobs for people, and it actually has been a job creator thing. And Julie can tell you more about it when you have Julie Colombino on your show.
I would love to have Julie on my show.
She's an amazing
I
human
love
as
like
well.
everybody. George Kadir says, "Good day, boys from Korea."
Good day. What are you doing in Korea?
What are you
George,
doing in
crazy man?
Korea, George? I have missed. Oh, Carolyn, thank you for all the comments. We have so many great people on, and I feel we're already at 34 minutes, so we have to.
So another 30 or so?
Listen, you guys could watch me all day long. I don't know what that would do.
I
but,
could.
Oh, you're kind.
I
Thank
love
you.
this man right
Oh,
here.
I love him too. I mean, what a blessing to have you on the show. You're kind of a bigwig. Like I feel blessed.
Nobody.
Like,
I'm nothing.
you're not. Oh,
Sitting
stop.
next to greatness here.
Self-deprecating. Look, we have more people keeping joining.
But
so I hate. Like maybe I should film the show all day long and you just watch me.
Just tune
Can you
in.
imagine how boring
Tune
that
in
would
and
be?
tune out,
Lord,
depending who you're sitting here with.
all of you would Baker Act me. No, I'm not sure what.
I don't
would
know.
happen.
After about 3 cups of water, you might start to
This
get a...
water is delicious.
I'm
Thank
only
you.
halfway done with my beer.
I know, but well, I don't know. You're a good Brit. Why are you not drinking that fast?
I know. I was talking too much. I'm
You
sorry.
must have had one for breakfast.
Sorry, I bored you people.
You did not.
I apologize.
Jenna Amira says, hi, boys. So much love.
Oh, hi, Jenna. See you at the
Oh, my God.
Collective.
A day
Oh, the
at the
Collective
table
is-
with Ted Bogert. Now, that's funny, Carolyn.
The-
We should do that. God,
Right, a
wouldn't that be
24-hour
fun? I need
live
to have like
feed.
a bigger camera.
Yeah, you need a plug for your...
And
for your-
maybe more than 4 cents for the production budget. Well, this probably costs more than 4 cents.
By the way, I need to shout out Andre and John have started the Collective, and that's tomorrow night.
That's correct.
So,
So
all you nonprofit
it's
people out there,
thecollective.org, right? Is the email
Carolyn?
address.
Carolyn, help us
Carolyn's
out.
on there.
it's the
Oh,
Collective.
Yolanda, thank you. I'm not bored. This is interesting.
Oh,
You're so
that's
sweet.
nice.
Oh,
But
and
yeah.
Nicole is my guest tomorrow, so she's like looking forward to tomorrow. Kind of cool, right? I got
Wow,
the fiery redhead,
I'm
right?
glad I got to go before Nicole because nobody wants to follow that.
Oh, stop.
She's going to do amazing things. Nicole started a couple of little things too recently.
Like everybody in art, we're all trying to do something good, and everybody's being. I feel like we're in a creative mode. The city is, right?
I feel like this is the time and the place, and you just suddenly find yourself in the midst of it all, and it's like I would rather not be anywhere else in the world right now than right here, right now.
Stacey, are you listening? We don't want to move.
Don't move, Stacey. Don't move. Beth, we're not
Carolyn
moving.
says, "Oh, hi, Donald. Thank you, Donald Stammen. It's nice to see your amazing show again. You guys are awesome. I love you guys. I love you. Thank you so much for being on here.
It's my great pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
This is the great part about the show. I don't have a remote, so Jim is going to have to get up and hit the finish button.
Where's the?
You're right. You have to squint, right?
I see the tiny finish button.
I love you guys.
Really close. You ready?
We'll see you tomorrow. Hi, Roy Reed.
Should I lick the camera?
You should totally lick the camera. We love you. Thank you so much for being on here. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Bye.